By now, Leary had moved on to a more powerful, but still legal, psychedelic drug, LSD.
LSD was guaranteed to really take you to a place that was very much more of a rebirth, death and rebirth experience.
Tim was very clear about the need for proper controls and proper support for these experiences.
LSD was beginning to enter the American consciousness. While Leary gave psychedelic lessons to the Sheik of New York, the residents of California were being offered an altogether more raucous introduction to the drug. The self-styled merry pranksters believed LSD should be available to all. They were driving their magic bus across America, offering the drug to anyone willing to take the acid test.
It's going to be a graduation ceremony and a commencement exercise, essentially for the heads.
The pranksters may have treated LSD with less respect than Leary, but they recognized that he had blazed the psychedelic trail before them.
Tim carried the standard. He was there first. He ran this thing called IFHIP, which was the International Federation for Internal Freedom. And ours on the bus was IS. We were the intrepid search for inner space.
One summer morning in 1964, the pranksters dropped in at Millbrook.
We showed up there like a carload of clowns, and green smoke pouring out of all the windows. Oh, can I remember Peggy? I got a picture in this machine of Peggy. She looks like a $2 million lollipop, I tell you. But I had really gone there to see Leary. And Leary was there, but he'd been upstairs, and so we didn't see him. We felt like he was kind of being snooty.
Apparently, Leary had been tripping all night and had only just gone to bed. So the psychedelic cheerleaders from the east and west coasts didn't meet at all during the 1960s. Leary now took his message to New York's Theatreland with a music and light show to recreate the LSD experience.
To turn on, you have to have a key to get in touch with the neurological, sensory, and cellular information that you've got stored in that 2 billion-year-old receptacle you call your body. Now, how do you turn on? Well, I'll tell you this. You can't turn on with words. You can't turn on with thinking. You can't think your way out.
They did these shows, and they became a great success. Then what happened is that people started wanting to come up to Millbrook and see this place, and I just felt less and less comfortable.
Play the role of cooks, cameramen, and we're going to keep shifting.
Anyone who was hip in the 60s came to Millbrook. On any given weekend, there were 100 people there floating through strange New York City types, bohemians, jet setters, German counts. You name it, you could find them at Millbrook.
Close behind came the media.
Now, these visual things, the only effect you find?
It's all to do with colour, it's all to do with round, with shape.
Leary revelled in his role as psychedelic spokesman.
Dr. Leary, what are you up to here?
We're teaching people how to use their head.
Soon, Tim sort of gave in to the extraordinary adulation that he was getting as a cult figure and as the word was barely used in America in 1964-65, a guru, a drug guru.
Sure exactly who's who and who's supposed to do what.
Tim was too enamored of the attraction and attention of lots of people. I don't think he was so good at living his life out in terms of the emotional intelligence.
With Leary showing more interest in fame than consciousness, his old Harvard friends began to drift away. Gunter Weil and Peggy Hitchcock were the first to leave, followed by Richard Alpert. Alpert went to India in search of enlightenment and returned as Baba Ram Das, achieving fame as one of America's leading mystics. Meanwhile, in 1964, Leary married Nena von Schlebrugger. He was 44, she 24. The marriage lasted less than a year. By the following summer, he was living with Rosemary Woodruff.
He took me from being an insecure, neurotic New Yorker to some extent to feeling like a sex goddess.
By the winter of 1965, even Leary wanted a break from all the attention. He left Millbrook with Rosemary and his children, Jack and Susan, now teenagers, and headed south. At the Mexican border, they were sent back by a policeman whom Leary recognized from an earlier stay in Mexico. Returning to the American side, they were stopped and strip-searched.
It was at that point, I believe, that we recognized that perhaps we'd been set up for this, that our phone had been tapped. That was the only way they could have known that we were going to cross at that particular point.
1/8 of an ounce of marijuana was found, most of it in daughter Susan's underwear. Her father took responsibility. It was his first offense, but his notoriety earned him a 30-year prison sentence. Released on bail pending appeal, Leary returned to Millbrook, where his troubles continued.